What's up, citizens, and welcome back to the Leo Dotson Show. Hey, today we've gotten a lot of questions about looking at some of the specific issues that we've addressed in some of the videos recently. What exactly does the Leo Dotson Show stand for? What are you advocating? What are the concepts behind the specifics? So I thought today we would do a quick presentation to cover that. First of all, the Leo Dotson Show is an independent political talk show. We are extremely nonpartisan. It's about being American citizens who advocate freedom in all of its standings. Not only are we nonpartisan, we actually believe that the partisanship between Democrats and Republicans arguing amongst each other really is the crux of the problem. And it actually distracts us from the real issues that we should be talking about. So we try to move beyond that or above that onto the issues of the day that affect all Americans equally, regardless of what political party they may be related to or adhere to. Excuse me, one of the quotes I love to show is Thomas Jefferson. And as I read this, I want you to look, when he said this, how poignant and how perfectly relative it is today. And his quote is, "The issue today is the same as it has been throughout history, all of history, whether man shall be allowed to govern himself or be ruled by a small elite." Now, obviously, the Leo Dotson Show is all about that. We advocate for self-governance, for freedom, and we really believe that more and more the United States of America is being run by a small elite, I would argue fascist, communist, socialist, anything but free, and we've got to do things to combat that. The real access to freedom, we believe, is housed in the U.S. Constitution and the Bill of Rights, which of course the Bill of Rights are part of the Constitution. A lot of people that don't really understand history think that somehow that it's out of date. And one of the beautiful things about the U.S. Constitution that it was written conceptually so that it can stand the test of time, as it's done better than any other document, constitution of any other sovereign nation in the history of the world. That's a fact. The Constitution gives us freedoms, gives us a set of ideologies and principles that govern us, to give us self-governance. So it doesn't get out of date or antiquated. It's not like talking about the latest version of technology or the newest smartphone. It really talks about how human beings should relate to one another and how they should relate to their government, which is a beautiful thing. Also, the Bill of Rights, the 10 Bill of Rights that were laid out. Many states would not ratify the Constitution until they knew for sure and had assurances that the Bill of Rights would be attached to the Constitution. So it was not an afterthought. And we think that is key to self-governance. If you don't believe in all the Bill of Rights, you're really not going to like the Leo Dotson Show. Here's some things that we see from the Leo Dotson Show. 5 threats to our freedoms that I think threaten the Constitution. First is any law or bill that violates the Bill of Rights, and we talk about those specifically in some of our videos. Second, money in campaigns. We've got to have campaign finance reform because our politicians, our elected leaders, are just being bought off because there's no limit to how much money some of these super PACs can contribute. The Federal Reserve, the banksters, they love capitalism until it doesn't work for them. Then they want to be bailed out. There's nothing capitalistic about that. We need to control the banks, not have the banks control us. Fourth is a welfare state. I believe we need to have some small safety net for people who fall through the cracks, but it cannot be a way of life. It cannot be a career path. It cannot be a generational dependency. And fifth, the mass media propaganda. Why it's so important to look at things like the internet, because we can search the world to find real information and not be given the spoon-fed garbage garbage and propaganda that we get. Whether you're watching a left or a right spun show, it's still the same ridiculous, trivial story that hides what's really going on behind the scenes with our government that we need to know. So what actions do we look at with the Leo Dotson Show to restore our freedoms? Well, first, we advocate repealing anything that violates the Constitution. This would include, this is a short list, the Patriot Act, NDAA, the Trespass Bill, H.R. 347 and Senate Bill 1794, and anything that violates our Bill of Rights. Secondly, we advocate that we must have campaign finance reform to get honest elections. We must eliminate the Federal Reserve and regulate the banks and get control of our money. We must balance the budget every year. We can't keep destroying our country with debt and our future generations. And we must restore the First Amendment, eliminate anything that censors the internet. The only thing we have as a free nation to be able to find information that's real is through the internet. It's a beautiful means for free people to be able to express ideas and find the truth. And anything that violates that, SOPA, PIPA, CISPA, all of these are thinly veiled censorship to keep you from finding the truth. And no matter what they tell you, they do not care about your internet rights. They do not care about copyright infringement. What they care about is you being propagandized by the mass media that they own and control, and not being able to dig for yourself and find information on your own that's really the truth and not been circumvented. Some basics for the Leo Dotson Show: absolute adherence to all of the Bill of Rights, limited government and balanced budget, a strong defense, but only used as a deterrent and a last resort. We do not believe in eternal war for eternal peace or continual invasions and occupations of other sovereign nations. We need to have stronger and better care for our veterans and first responders. They took care of us in a time of crisis. We need to return the favor. Educational reform, so we have an educated populace. Our educational system is abysmal, and I believe it's intentional. And again, we need to have honest elections. And lastly, I just want to share some quotes that express the Founding Fathers' ideologies, which mirrors that of the Leo Dotson Show. Here's the quotes. Beautiful. I would rather be exposed to the inconveniences of attending too much liberty than those attending too small a degree of it. When people fear the government, there is tyranny. When the government fears its people, there is liberty. Those who give up liberty in lieu of safety deserve neither and receive neither liberty nor safety. The price of freedom is eternal vigilance. And in matters of style, swim with the current. In matters of principle, stand like a rock. That's the Leo Dotson Show. Thank you very much for watching the Leo Dotson Show. We now return you to your regularly scheduled TV propaganda and media mind control, already in progress.